Hello.
Hello.
It is Friday evening, right after the big conventions. Had some questions online regarding sobriety. We have some people that are struggling with their sobriety, that are newly sober, and some that are obviously been sober for quite some time. But can you tell your story of sobriety and how you maintain your sobriety?
Yeah, I can do that. It's hard to tell everything because it's an internal job, this whole thing. But my sobriety started. I was on a runaway train with pharmaceuticals given by one doctor and then another doctor and then another doctor because of my hearing, and it just made things worse and more problematic. But when I was invited to do the Jules Holland show, and they asked me if it'd be cool if Eric did it with me, I said, perfect. I went to London not long after, and it was a big sound stage, and when I walked in, it was really blinded by the light, because I was just getting in the building. And I actually walked right in front of Eric. I didn't even acknowledge him. All I saw was the piano. And the guy comes over and says, hey, you just walked right in front of Eric. Went over and said, hello, thank you for doing my show. But as a rehearsal, because it was a dress rehearsal, as it started to move along, Eric was sitting over there, and he had a ball cap on, and he was sitting on his amplifier with his legs crossed and his guitar in his lap. And he had an aura of peace and serenity about him. And I knew right then, that's what I wanted. I remember me then.
What shape were you in at the time?
Huh?
What shape were you in at the time?
I was in real bad shape. I should not have been doing the Jules Holland show when they had to persuade me to do it. And it took them several weeks. And then I had to think about a couple, Then they called me back. Is it okay to have Eric on this thing? Well, as it turned out, I saw something that I wanted. I wanted that same peace. It was almost like a glow, a light. And I knew what I was going to have to do it. At that time, I was on like 7 or 8 powerful pharmaceuticals. My hands were trembling, so I can't even make them do that. As soon as I touched the keyboard, they calmed down. But it was a crazy situation. Like I said, I shouldn't have been doing that show. I should have been home trying to get myself recovered from what I knew I was in trouble with. Well, we did the show, a little chat back afterward. And when I got home, things didn't get better for me because I was still on those pharmaceuticals. And I had an incredible experience. I walked, mind you, my nearest neighbor was like 2.5 miles away. I lived back up in the National Forest. And I came in one night and walked into my front room, and there was a bunch of Mexicans standing there, like, badges? We don't need your stinking badges. Those kind of guys. Big sombrero, long handlebar mustache. One guy had a bullet belt around his shoulder. It was wild. Woman right here with like about 4 snotty-nosed kids on my sofa. I told her, it freaked me out. And then one back standing back there just looking. They didn't say a word. And I said, get out of my house. And they kept doing this, I said, get out of my house. And I just happened to have a 6-shooter on my side with some snake shot in it. And so I said, I want you out of my house now. And I went, bam! And shot right above my chair, and it hit my scabbard from my rifle. Made a perfect circle like that. It was loaded with snake shot. As soon as that happened, they vanished, just like that. It was the craziest thing. I knew right then, I got to get off of all this stuff that I'm doing. You know, drinking wine and taking those pills. I got to stop this, and I got to stop it now. And I called you that night.
It was frightening.
Yeah, I was out there on that hilltop all by myself, and it scared. I was afraid of myself. And one time, I mean, I was like really at my end, my rope's end, and I called the sheriff department, and I asked them if they have a suicide prevention line, and she said, "Now, Mr. Whitlock, you just probably had a little too much to drink, and I'm just going to sit here on this phone until I feel like you're better. Other than that, I'm going to send Kenny Dickinson out there to see you." And so she all did but everything but tell me to straighten up, you know. So we talked for a while, and after I hung up, that's when I called you, and I got myself into Discovery Place outside of Dixon, Tennessee. And,
Delaney went there, yeah.
Yeah, Delaney went there, but they didn't think it was going to take with me, you know, because I mean, I lied to get in there. I wanted off all that shit. I wanted off of it now, you know, like yesterday. I remember when I was totally clean, you know. I remember that. And when I was young, I got this incredible memory of things that I shouldn't know, you know, remember from when I was very young. But I remembered how I felt when I didn't have alcohol or anything. And that goes back a long way, because I started drinking moonshine when I was 10 years old, and on a pretty regular basis. My grandfather's moonshine, as a matter of fact, and then I started watering it down, and just not to give it away. Yeah, that was the last, that bottle of moonshine was the last thing that my grandfather, Peepaw Whitlock, had, and they found him in a corn roll. When they used to chop corn and like that, in an angle like that, it was about that high. He had one of the coldest nights in Mississippi in decades. He cut across he made a moonshine, and he drank it too. He cut across a cornfield to deliver moonshine to some dude, and they got drunk together, and he was walking back across that field, fell over. Corn cob, he tripped, the corn stalk poked him right in the...
Went through him.
So, no, it didn't go through him.
Oh, solar plexus.
It stuck him right in the solar plexus. He rolled over, and two boys running a fence the next morning found him, and he was laying with his hands up to the sky, and that bottle of corn whiskey right there with the lid just unscrewed, didn't spill a drop.
He was frozen?
No, hell, you can't freeze whiskey.
No, he was frozen.
Oh, he was frozen, stiff as a board.
Jeez.
And, well, all he had on him was a Prince Albert tobacco can with a picture of my Uncle Tommy, my daddy's brother, my Uncle Tommy, and a nickel. That was what he had on him when he passed away, and that bottle of moonshine. Well, Uncle Tommy got the PA can, and my dad got the moonshine. And he was Southern Baptist preacher, and he used to keep it in his study. Everywhere was a study, like under the stairs, and somewhere in the church, and wherever it was, you know. And he had that moonshine sitting up there. Oh, it was tempting. And I said, well, Dad, I used to mess with it. I'd light it. It turned blue, you know. That means it's real pure. But so my drinking started back when I was 10, you know, and it didn't get better, you know. So in a way, I've been going downhill all my life until I got sober. Growing up and going downhill at the same time. And when I decided to do it, I knew I needed to get rid of all these toxic chemicals that are invading my body. My dad said that he was a pharmaceutical, my mother said he was a pharmaceutical junkie. He says he was a victim of the hospital. Well, she said he'd been a victim of the hospital before I met him, you know. But anyway,
Do you
so
think,
it runs a long line in my family, you
Sure.
know, on both sides of my family.
did it affect you in a bad way, musically or creatively?
No, because I didn't involve the two, believe it or not.
It didn't slow down your songwriting or anything like that?
No. I think I just put myself through so much more pain and agony that it had to come out. So it probably was a good thing that I went through that. Then, not now, not still doing that now. But yeah, I got through my thing with the Discovery Place. They did not think it was going to happen for me, you know, and I went straight from there, went back to my farm, and I watched everybody around me, you know, going down like a, you know, a Jamaican.
Because they lost control of you.
Yeah,
okay?
they lost control of me. Suddenly I was not manipulated or anything. I couldn't be touched.
You were aware of what was going on.
Yes, absolutely. And I've been, see, October the 13th, that's my 20 years of my sobriety.
It's October.
I'm grateful for all the years that I wasted. I'm grateful for all the lessons I learned along my life's highway. I'm grateful to be here right now in the presence of my loved one. And, you know, there's a attitude of an altitude of gratitude, and it's lifting yourself up into a higher realm, you know. And that's what's happened to me. I obtained what I wanted, what I was looking for, and more, you know. I always kept grabbing onto when I could, I remember how it was really clear, you know, when I was like 9. So,
Did you have any difficulty staying sober?
no,
And you're not involved in AA.
no.
But you had, I mean, when you first started out, of course, you went through a program.
Yeah,
Don't you think that AA should be a stepping stone?
I think that's all that is a stepping stone.
But most people stay in it for life. I mean, God bless them, they need it, I would imagine. But it seems to me it should be a stepping stone, not a staying stone.
Yeah, they say you're going to recover forever. Hell, I recovered when I had my, when I was enlightened. That was it. I lost my desire for all that stuff. I really did. And I don't, I don't take any pharmaceuticals or nothing.
Have you ever fallen off the wagon?
One time, and it was only a bump, and
Did you regret it?
oh hell yeah! I felt so guilty. But it was like a day, you know. I broke down and had some champagne I'd been wanting for a long, long time. It was a stupid thing. But it was a one-day deal. That's all. It don't take much to get burned, you know, to realize it. That was it for me.
You hear a lot of stories about people that are not capable of getting back on stage and playing the same, performing the same, like Stevie Ray Vaughan. You had that experience with him. He complained about that.
Yeah, him being sober. I ran into him at the Peabody in Memphis, and we got to talking. He's good friends.
Had you known him before that?
No. He's good friends with Gary Bells, who had the studio in town, big studio. He owns Ocean Way and all that stuff. And he also owns the Peabody Hotel. But Stevie and I were talking in the lobby. I was going to some of his sessions just to check them out. He said, I can't do it. He said, I can't get the same sound sober, you know, and straight. I can't get it.
Right.
And they backed a tractor trailer rig back up in the back of Kiva Studios, Memphis, and I think they had some upwards of 18 different amplifiers, all plugged in and cranked to the hilt. He still couldn't capture that thing.
So did he leave frustrated, or did he eventually work it out? What
He
happened?
worked it out eventually. It was one thing after the next, you know. I thought he was having a hard time in the studio with the ground. I said, what the problem was this? I said, we need to just wrap a little wire around something on your guitar and run it out the door with a sick penny nail and stick it in the ground. You know, no problem. Grounding problem over. But he still couldn't get the sound that he wanted.
Do you know what record he was working on at the time?
No,
About what year was that? Or
I'm getting on it about 86 or 7, probably. 88,
well, and he was
I
in
think it was
Memphis.
1988, yeah.
He was in Memphis at the time.
Yeah, he was in Memphis at the time.
How long before he passed away did that happen? That tragedy?
I don't know. You know, I don't keep up with all those kind of details. You know, as you know, I don't listen to music. You know, I don't subscribe to anybody's nonsense. You know, you can't believe them anyway. But yeah, I got to say, I'm blessed with what's happened to me.
What would you say right now, especially with everybody going through this COVID, the pandemic, having to stay home? I'm sure struggling from not being able to go to meetings or, you know, trying to stay sober.
I think that there are links, you know, that people can hook up with. You know, that you can talk to somebody.
But you're still at home. You're still by yourself.
You're still at home. You're still by yourself. At least you're sober. You know, you can go out and get drunk, and that ain't gonna make it right. You know, there's all kind. If somebody really, really wants it and needs it, you know, they're gonna take the steps to find the answer to what they need. You know.
So, did music help you stay sober? Does your art help you stay sober, or you just don't even think about it?
All that hasn't got anything to do with my sobriety.
Okay.
Oh, it had no, except that my music is better, my art is better. No, that has nothing to do. All of that with.
I know it doesn't.
No.
Because I know you. You don't even think about that stuff.
No, I never think about it. You always have to remind me, you know.
I don't remind you.
Well, I mean, a couple of years, you said, you know, your
your sobriety
birth date, it was like last month, you know. No, I'm busy living life. I couldn't do it if I had maintained how I was. I'm certain I wouldn't be around.
So part of what it sounds like to me is just you're busy doing life. You don't think about that. So a good thing to be would to be busy in life.
Yeah, no matter if you're a thinker, you know, that might be what keeps you busy, pondering, you know, the universe or whatever. There are people who, great thinkers, and that's what they do. Except, you know, the Newton guy, you know, sitting between the thing, he didn't think that apple was going to hit him, you know.
But he had to, it happened,
came to him.
But then it came to him,
It
right?
all came to him,
It actually hit him in the head.
Yeah, it did do that, you know.
But I mean, were there messages from people that helped you to maintain your not sobriety so much, but just staying on track? You know, I hate to keep saying maintain your sobriety.
Hell no, there were no messages because it was a personal deal of mine. I didn't make any noise about my sobriety. I didn't, you know, go shouting out to the world and everybody, you know, what has
2
happened
hours,
to me.
6 days, 3 minutes, and all that.
Hell no, man. It's my business. I don't put it in the street.
Well, I think everybody's different, so whatever works for you.
Yeah, everybody's different. Everybody gets from that what they're going to get is what they want and what they need, the nourishment they need. I was on all those pills during the whole thing of the. I could not wait to get on an airplane and get back on my farm and isolate. Whoa, my stomach hurt me for 2 weeks because it was contracting, convulsing like this.
You nearly died when you got to Discovery Place.
Yeah, I came real close to it. It was just a bad scene all around, you know. And if that wasn't something telling me, but that's all these dang doctors tell. I was doing what the doctor would say. This guy said something, and then it caused some reaction. And it said, if you get these things, well, it hadn't been that long ago with my good doc here. They prescribed me something for my heart, and said if you get these, the big fold out thing that nobody ever reads, read it, and it says, can you go up and downstairs easily and blah blah blah. First one, and I checked. Negative. Do you have any, all these things? Well, turns out I had all the symptoms of everything. I thought it might just be one I was waiting on.
You were a real whack job for a while.
Oh, I couldn't help it. It's some foreign substance in my body, trying to keep my heart a regular beat. I don't have a regular beating heart. Doc says, are you good with it?
It was a high blood pressure medicine.
Yeah, it was a high blood pressure medicine. Doc told me, a week or two ago, and a heart specialist, because I had irregular heartbeat. He says, well, let me ask you this. And this is like one of the top guys in around in Texas. And he said, I got one piece of advice for you. And he said, don't ever come back to see me again. He said, you got an irregular heartbeat, but does it get in your way with anything? I said, no. I had one episode 39 years ago. He said, there's no need for you to come to me. So I'm in better shape than I thought I was. I'm glad I got myself all checked out and everything, because alcohol and drugs can be totally devastating. That's your biggest organ right there, is your skin. It starts eating away inside and out. And
you've only got one body.
That's it. And it's a temporary thing getting me around, I didn't realize that, or I wouldn't have abused it before, I would have been more particular.
So you enjoy life much more?
Oh, full, whole. I say, every time when I paint, I say, thank you. Thank you for this wonderful gift. Thank you for blessing me like this. Sober life, sober living.
You see the sky, you see the birds.
Oh, man.
You used to take those things for granted.
I never saw flowers in England because I was driving so damn fast, No, sowing wild oats, my seeds, but I couldn't get the window down to sow them, So, I don't regret anything. I don't regret any of it, I don't regret all the whiskey I drank and, and drugs I did, because it's all past tense for me,
Right.
And I don't know, it's a step at a time, and we'll see what happens tomorrow,
You
won't, if you find me with a bottle of whiskey or something in my hand, you look for a bullet hole, because somebody had to shoot me to stick it in my hand. I guarantee it. No, hell no. No, beautiful. It's a beautiful life, a beautiful world that we live in. Just going.
Do you think it's really more of a form of escape?
Oh yeah. See, this is where it's bad on bad, because like you're trapped in your house, and you get drunk as a dog, and you wake up sicker the next morning. You got to have that thing start all over, and you can't go anywhere. It's a pandemic. You got to stay home. Oh, it's a hell of a deal. I don't envy anybody going through.
Were you escaping pain, or were you?
Me?
Yeah.
I wasn't escaping nothing.
Well, that's what I was asking.
I like the way it worked with me, but eventually it was a lot of. I found that it could cushion the blow, and the many blows that I've taken over my lifetime. But if it hadn't been that, it would have been something else. And I was trying everything because, preacher's kid, hell, you couldn't go to movies and dancing with I mean, Jesus. And then my dad's out there rolling around with some woman. I mean, God.
Well, you know about those preachers.
Oh, man, those preachers, yeah. That's the hell. They have it on with the deacon's wives, you know. All preachers' kids, they generally wind up in jail, you know, doing a bunch of dope. Generally, all preachers' kids.
There's a better life.
Oh, there's a better life, I got to tell you. Yeah, I'm glad to be here right now. I know it's important what we're saying. You know, this hadn't been about the music or anything really, but
It's all part of it.
yeah, it is part of it. It's intertwined, you know. I'm grateful.